will bring you closer to what matters in mining and energy, both locally and globally. Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCMIH, investing smartly. Get ready to dig deep into the world of mining and energy on the Mining Corner program right here on ZNBC Radio 2. Brought to you by ZCCM Investment Holding PLC, an investment holding company with a strong footprint in Zambia's mining and energy sectors. With commodities from copper, gold, and manganese to energy and other industrial minerals. Join experts as they explore the latest trends, innovations, and insights in the mining industry, from exploration, production to value addition. We will cover it all. Mining Corner is your platform to learn, engage, and stay informed. We will bring you closer to what matters in mining and energy, both locally and globally. Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCMIH, investing smartly.
It's another Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Mining Corner. To present the program, my name is Kumbuso Banda. You'll be joining me for the next 50 minutes as we look at another interesting topic. Now, on this program, we focus on the operations of ZCCM Investment Holdings and its partners. Today, we look at the Zambia Gold Company. Now, also be on the lookout for the quiz that will give you an opportunity to win some prizes. And also coming up a little later on our show is a mining news segment. And we just want to remind you that on the quiz, we get the questions actually from the discussions that we have. So keep it locked right here on Mining Corner and be with us for the next 50 minutes or so. Remember, this program is interactive, so you'll be calling us on the number to be given. And like I did say, we do have the Zambia Gold Company, and that is our discussion for today. We'll be looking at the operations, strategic directions, as well as gold aggregation. Joining me in the studio this afternoon is the Chief Executive Officer from the Zambia Gold Company. This is Mr. Joseph Lungu. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So like I did mention, we'll have the discussion around the Zambia Gold Company. We'll be back after this.
At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we believe sustainability is our focus for long-term success. Management of our investments is done by highly skilled personnel. Accretion is another strategic pillar for us to make steady, continuous gains. Risk influences all our decisions to safeguard the interests of our stakeholders. Timeliness is religiously followed for us to position ourselves to react efficiently to emerging trends and market opportunities. Longevity is ingrained in our investments to build lasting, controlled growth and prosperity. Yielding a maximum return on investment for our stakeholders is at the core of our strategy. At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we're building a bright and prosperous future, locally and globally.
Welcome back. This is Mining Corner on ZNBC Radio 2, and we do have the CEO for the Zambia Gold Company joining us this afternoon, and this is Mr. Joseph Lungu. All right, Mr. Lungu, let's start by you providing us with a brief overview of the Zambia Gold Company, when it was established and what was the driving force behind its formation.
Thank you and good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. So Zambia Gold Company Limited was incorporated on the 10th of January 2020 as a special purpose vehicle to help formalize and develop the gold sector in Zambia. The driving force behind its creation was to curb illicit gold trading, formalize artisanal mining, and maximize state benefit from Zambia's gold resources. Zambia Gold, as you know, is jointly owned by ZCCM Investment Holdings, which owns 51% of its shareholding, and the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, which holds the remaining 49%, reflecting its mandate to serve both commercial and developmental interests. Our initial operations at Kasenseli Mine proved the viability of this state-led participation in the sector, producing about 130 kg within just 2 years and generating revenue in excess of 127 million kwacha. And today, Zambia Gold stands as a catalyst for transformation in Zambia's gold value chain.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Lungu, for giving us that brief background. So what is Zambia Gold's core mandate, and how does it align with Zambia's broader mining and economic development goals?
So our core mandate is to formalize, to aggregate, to mine, to process, and to trade gold sustainably and transparently within Zambia. So this aligns with Zambia's broader goals of 1, value retention and beneficiation within our national borders. Number 2, the formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining. 3, very important, job creation and rural development. And finally, the strengthening of our fiscal revenues through traceable gold exports. So through our gold aggregator business model, Zambia Gold is creating a structured market access form or structure for artisanal miners, promoting socio-economic upliftment and reinforcing Zambia's sovereignty over its mineral wealth. These are pillars, as you know, critical to national industrialization and financial inclusion.
All right, so you've mentioned those big words, Mr. Lungu: formalize, aggregate, mine, process as well. Let's keep it simple for probably our listeners who maybe they really don't know what the gold industry or gold mining is all about. When you talk about one of your mandates as to formalize, what exactly are you talking about? The mining industry. Maybe you can also explain to us what aggregate means.
Yeah, so as we know, lately we have had discoveries of gold in the country. We do know, of course, that you have these pockets of gold being discovered all over the country, and we see activities from small-scale or artisanal miners trying to find and mine this gold. Unfortunately, we haven't had a structure since independence where this gold can be collected for the benefit of the nation. So the role of Zambia Gold in this scenario is to try to aggregate or to purchase gold from these artisanal small-scale miners in such a manner that the state benefits and also the local economies benefit. So that's the meaning of what aggregation is, to try and get together all this gold that is being found all over the country, try to purchase it, and then put it together in such a form or format that the government and the country and the people benefit.
All right. Obviously, formalizing has to do with legalizing mining activities, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So with that background, how are you faring as Zambia Gold? Or how is the current playing field in as far as mining is concerned? We know that in the news there's been issues of illegal gold mining. We know that stakeholders have come in to ensure that the sector is formalized. Just how important, maybe at this point I should ask you, is formalization to the development of the mining sector vis-a-vis gold mining in Zambia?
All right, thank you. So I can talk about Zambia Gold in that respect. So in our setup, our principal production asset is the Kasenseli mine that we find in Mwinilunga, which currently is now being operated under a setup which is stemming from the relationship that we have with the local community under what's called Kamushishi Mineral Resources Limited, which is a joint venture with the Chief Chiwika Development Trust. So following regulatory approvals and renewed stakeholder alignment, We started processing there, resumed processing in March this year, beginning with the recovery of gold from the low-grade stockpiles that are sitting there. And then, of course, we are ramping up production, which is supported also by a remedial works program and compliance upgrades, and following also the recruitment of local skilled labor in partnership with the Chiwika chiefdom.
Okay.
And then additionally, like I mentioned, Zambia Gold, we are implementing a gold aggregation program across Lusaka, across Rufunsa, Mumbwa, and other areas where gold is being discovered. And then we're also trying to, as I mentioned, trying to include infrastructure plans that will accompany this. This includes having a processing plant in Mumbwa, having modular gold buying centers where these gold discoveries are being made. We're also trying to set up a trial mining operation in Rufunsa, and having exploration partnerships with ZCCM IH licenses.
Right.
So there's a lot of activity in the gold sector. I think the word that you mentioned there, formalization. Obviously, what we want to do is to help the process along by working with government, the Ministry of Mines, and other stakeholders to ensure that the people that are engaged in gold mining activities are licensed, that they're able to mine responsibly, and that they're able to get benefit from the gold that they mine, so that they're not exploited by unscrupulous buyers that are out there. So it's a process we have started, and hopefully with the stakeholders that we're working with, in the next few years, we should see a more structured gold framework in the country.
Okay. A structured gold framework. What are the benefits of this? I know we've seen, so to speak, a scramble for gold now, and people may say that they are not benefiting as locals. That is what some are saying, and they would rather go out there themselves to mine as unskilled miners. But what are you trying to really do? What is the overall intention, and what are the benefits to the overall economy of the country, as well as the local where mining activities may be taking place?
Yeah, so where you have a situation where the miners, the artisanal and small-scale miners, are not structured in a formal sector. What you have in that situation is a potential for exploitation, in that unscrupulous buyers will be exploiting these miners by offering them very low gold prices, which are not even linked to the current gold prices that are obtaining in the market. So what Zambia Gold is trying to do is to introduce a system whereby these small-scale and artisanal miners have access to the kind of pricing which is aligned with what the current gold prices are in the market, so that they are empowered. And when that happens, you see a cascade of benefits coming through to them and their families. But also, what has happened as well is that because some of these activities are happening without a formal structure, the government is losing out in terms of tax revenue. So when you have an official buyer like Zambia Gold, which is able to provide a platform through which these artisanal small-scale miners are able to sell their gold in a structured manner, we're able to then transmit the taxes that are due or that happen during these transactions to the government. So it's a win-win for these local and artisanal miners, and it's also a win-win for the government. So that's the role that Zambia Gold is trying to play.
All right. Well, in case you've just tuned in, this is Mining Corner on ZNBC Radio 2. We do have Mr. Joseph Lungu, who is the Chief Executive Officer, coming through from the Zambia Gold Company. Our phone lines are now open. Send us those texts on WhatsApp to the number 0770347221. You can as well send your voice notes if that's another option that is available to you. But you can also use the said number 0770347221 for voice calls, and you'll be live right here on ZMBC Radio 2. And you can ask my guest questions pertaining to today's topic. And we do have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
Banda calling from Solwezi.
Mr. Banda, you are through to Mining Corner. Your question or contribution?
It's just a question.
Go ahead.
Concerning what had happened in Mufumbwe. I don't know what the government is doing about it, because of late I haven't been listening to the radio. But there is just too much, illicit, illegal mining going on. So I don't know what the government is doing about that, so that, the locals benefit from the same. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banda. What I know is recently the Minister of Mines, I think he actually was in Mufumbwe, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, and he did give out 90 offer letters to some cooperatives there, and these cooperatives will undergo some sort of training to actually learn how to mine safely, among other things. Then we hear later they will be offered licenses. So that is what's happening. Maybe Mr. Lungu can come in on that one. But this is one way that government is trying to formalize the sector. Mr. Lungu.
Yes. So, obviously the government is proactively trying to make sure that situation works for not only the local people, the local communities, but the government as well. Where Zambia Gold comes in, obviously we are on a small scale supporting artisanal and small scale miners in the areas where we're operating. Okay. That is Rufunsa and Mumbwa. So how we're doing that is we try to form and capacitate cooperatives that are operating in these areas with training, with equipment, and also with business support. And we have deployed field teams and also established buying centers that offer competitive, transparent gold pricing, like I mentioned before. And then what we try to do through these interactions is integrate technology and data collection to promote traceability and compliance, because that's extremely important. Most of these places which buy gold, they are interested in knowing where that gold is from and how it is being mined, to make sure that it is being mined safely and that things like child labor are not part of the mining process. And then, of course, through our interactions with stakeholders, we do advocate for reforms to try to decriminalize artisanal small-scale mining and to incentivize sustainability, because at the end of the day, these are people who are looking to support themselves, support their families through this particular venture. So I'm sure the government and everyone else involved is trying to make sure that they set up structures that will enable a situation where these people are trained, they are licensed properly, and then you have gold aggregators on the other side, such as Zambia Gold, who will be buying the gold at prices which reflect the current international market prices and is not exploitative to these particular miners. So our role as Zambia Gold is to work with the government in whatever way they see fit. So I'm sure the current setup that we have in Rufunsa and Mumbwa will be replicated in other areas as well, to make sure that the whole country, wherever gold occurs, is captured in terms of the gold that is being produced and aggregated.
All right. We continue picking your calls. We do have another caller. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Kumbuso Banda and Mr. Lungu. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Ronald Chinyama. I'm calling you from Southern Province, Namwada. Yes, Madam. Yes, Mr. Lungu.
Yes, please. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes, in addition, concerning our topic this afternoon, at least where our mining, like gold mining, is, the government, I don't know, means of mining, is to go, to follow order. If it is to write some application so that you can post there, and then people can have more jobs done. Because I have heard in Mufumbwe there was some wrangles, in terms of gold mining. So at least in order, let them to form the cooperative group so that at least our people there, local people, to benefit from gold mining in Zambia.
Okay.
I thank you very much.
So basically you are contributing. You don't have a question for Mr. Lungu?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. I know that Mr. Lungu was just explaining how they're incorporating small-scale miners and artisanal mining in their operations where Zambia Gold is operating. But I think this is it's a growing concern when we see a lot of people die as a result of illegal mining. And, he was just making that contribution. I don't know if you can come in, Mr. Lungu.
Yeah, so obviously our concern, the government's concern, is that these small-scale artisanal miners mine the gold where they are licensed in a safe manner. So there has to be some sort of training exercises that need to be carried out so that people are aware of the safe methods of mining, and Zambia Gold will play its role in that particular exercise, as well as I'm sure other stakeholders as well. But the important thing is to ensure that mining is done safely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no point in being an artisanal miner or a small-scale miner if your operations are unsafe. It has to be done in a sustainable manner, in a safe manner, in a manner which complies with the law.
All right. We pick up more calls. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, this is Salon Brito calling from Kasemba.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yes, I've got a question. Where there is a gold mine, do the youth benefit from if the mine is open?
Do the what?
Where there is a gold mine, if the mine of gold mine is open, do the youth benefit from?
The youths?
From the same mine.
Okay. That is your question? Okay. How are you incorporating the youths in your operations at Zambia Gold?
Yeah, so if we look at our operation in Manilunga at Kasansele Mine, we have employed a lot of young people from the communities. So, we do recognize that we have a role to play in the local communities in terms of employing the youth and also empowering the youth when we can. So we have employed obviously a number of youth from the community, and that's something that we'll replicate in all our areas of operation as well. Now, the good thing with mining, in a general sense, in a broader sense, is that, of course, it helps the local communities in so many ways. Employment, and then that cascades through to other ways in which people are empowered from the earnings that they make, mm-hmm. From the training that they get, and so on and so forth. So the youth, of course, do benefit, and our hope and expectation is that with these gold discoveries that are being made around the country, that this will be phased out across the country, and then there'll be more employment opportunities for the youth of the country.
Okay. We have Mr. Lungu joining us, and this is, of course, Mr. Joseph Lungu, who is the Chief Executive Officer from Zambia Gold Company. When we talk about issues of mining, there is always a concern of the environment and how these mining activities may impact the environment. What steps is Zambia Gold taking to minimize the environmental footprints of its mining operations?
Yeah, so that's a very important question. So under one of our strategic pillars, environmental stewardship and responsible mining, Zambia Gold conducts and ensures that it conducts environmental impact assessments before it operates in any area. This is extremely important. So for instance, before we did anything in Mwinilunga, even working in partnership with ZCCM IH in Rufunsa and in Mumbo and all the other areas, we make sure that we conduct these environmental impact assessments, which alert us to how the environment will be impacted by our operations, and make sure that we are in compliance with the environmental regulations that are out there. One of the other things that we do, obviously as a mining operation, we would, as a matter of course, install infrastructure to help us to extract gold from those areas. So for instance, when we are considering the future plans we may have, the future leach plan, for instance, that we may put in place in these areas, what we do is to make sure that these will be eco-friendly processing technology. So we make sure that the environment is front and center in all our planning. And we do also make sure that we partner with either strategic partners or environmental groups that promote the ICMM principles. This is the International Council on Mining and Metals, who are very strong on making sure that the environmental footprint that is left by mining entities is cognizant of what a safe and secure environment should be like, despite some of these operations. And we do train our field teams, and also in our engagements with the cooperatives, we do run them through things like waste management and land rehabilitation. And then we make sure that in our policies, we embed the ESG frameworks that mining firms need to adhere to. So for us, the environment, the sustainability and so on is not a checkbox. It's core to what we do as Zambia Gold to secure community trust and long-term viability.
Okay. Well, we're almost wrapping up our interview, Mr. Lungu, but let's see if we can accommodate one or two calls right here on Mining Corner. It's 0770347221. That is a number that you are using to be part of the show. You can send a text. You can actually just call us directly on the program. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Please turn down the volume on your radio set.
Yes, please. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Who do we have on the line?
We have Mr. Joseph, actually, from Mumbo.
Please go ahead. Your line is bad. Maybe kindly move to another spot or try to speak up.
Okay.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, kindly go ahead with your question or contribution.
Yeah, I think for me, I just want to say something. The benefits that we are getting from the minerals, I think as a nation, we are not getting any of the benefits to the max. Looking at gold, the way it has been, maybe if you visited the sites, probably Mumbo and Mfumbo, I think most of
Sir,
the
please maybe try to move to another spot. Would want to hear exactly what you are asking or your contribution. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. We got parts of his contribution. He was wondering if we are at all benefiting as a country from our rich mineral resources. I don't know if you got the other part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the government has made it clear that it has a plan for extracting value from the mining sector. I think we have seen the pronouncements from the president down to the minister. So there is a plan definitely for that. I think it's for us to be more forward-looking now to see to what extent we can extract value from these minerals. I think we have had lessons in the past, lessons which I believe we have learned. And going forward, I think Zambia Gold will play a small role, but largely I think the whole country just needs to align itself to the fact that we are a rich country in terms of resources, and there are things that we can do to extract value to the benefit of the country and the people at large.
All right, I have a text message, Mr. Lungu. It says, formalizing the small-scale mining sector is good. The problem is people may be impatient because government is telling them to wait while other big companies are already reaping the benefits. So it's good to formalize the sector, but we need to do it fast. Okay, that's just maybe a contribution. Please take note of that. Let's see if we can pick another call. All right, we lost that one. So your comment on that particular message that we've received, Mr. Lungu.
Yeah, I think it's important to have the structures in place, because when you don't have structures in place, that's when you leave room for exploitation. So in this case, we're talking about the small-scale artisanal miners who have a role to play. If you look at global statistics in terms of gold production, at least 20% of all the gold that is produced is from artisanal and small-scale miners. So it's not a small amount of gold, and that's replicated all over the world. So you have mining entities that maybe mine 80% of the gold, and then 20% comes from artisanal and small-scale miners.
Okay.
So if you look at the Zambian situation, that could potentially be a substantial amount of gold that is being mined out there. Some estimates put it at more than 1 ton a year. So that's a substantial amount, which currently, we are leaking tax by not capturing that amount, and that amount is not empowering the Zambian people. So we need to put the structures in place. The speed with which we move obviously depends on the people who are putting the structures, but you cannot have a system where people benefit without certain things being in place. And I think that's what's going on. The licensing regime, aggregating at fair price, and all the other things that are being put in place. I think we need to be, in terms of our view, we need to have the long term in view, but also plan for the short term.
All right, another question. Are you adding any value to the gold that you have? If so, what are you doing? If not, why are you not doing that? But before you answer that, let's pick another call, the final one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, this is Matthias Mbaro from Kitwe.
Where are you calling us from?
Chamboli, Kitwe.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask the process, how to access the same artisanal mining licenses.
All right, thank you.
So these are being issued by the Ministry of Mines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has to go through the process.
Through the process,
with the Ministry of Mines.
Yes.
All right. The other question was about adding value to the gold. What are we doing? What are you doing as a company? And generally as a country, how much are we doing towards our value addition?
So value addition is extremely important. Just like the term says, any raw metal, in terms of pricing, the value of that will be much, much less than if you add value to it. You can look at copper, you can look at all the other minerals. So at Zambia Gold, we do have a plan which is captured in our strategic plan. And that plan is to do value addition as well through, at some point, partnering with others, as SCMIH and other strategic partners, to see and install a refinery in the country. So obviously, when you do that, then you would value add. At the moment, the gold that we get is raw gold. We can smelt it to what's called gold doré, but that can be refined further to bullion gold, which is 99.99% gold. And then, of course, you have the jewelry market. We have a sister subsidiary company, Kariba Minerals, which does jewelry. I think their main focus is amethyst. We did actually conduct a small pilot project last year in which we made gold jewelry. So we have seen the potential of value addition in that respect. So that's something which we will do in future as well.
Okay. So you were incorporated, like you said, in 2020, right?
Yes.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years down the line. What is your long-term vision for the company? And how do you see yourself, the role in the mining sector evolving in the next 10 years?
Right. So our vision is to lead Zambia's gold sector by 2026 and over the long term. And in the next decade, we see Zambia Gold evolving into a vertically integrated gold enterprise with 4 key growth pillars. Number 1, we want to have operational mines. We have started with our flagship project there in Kasenseli. We'll soon transition also to Rufunsa, where we're working hand in hand with ZCCM IH that has a license there. And then secondly, the gold aggregation infrastructure. We want to have a fully national footprint servicing all artisanal gold hotspots. Wherever gold is being discovered, we want to have presence there in terms of offering these artisanal small-scale miners competitive gold pricing. And then, of course, like I said, in the value addition side of things, we want to get involved in the processing and refining by installing processing plants and downstream facilities for bullion gold. And then finally, I think this one is more on a novel kind of aspect of gold. We want to also introduce financial innovation which involves gold. So this is like having a gold reserve fund and structured gold products like gold-backed bonds, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and unit trusts. So these are things that we're looking at in our strategic plan. So with a governance model which is hinged on our values, them being accountability, respect, integrity, safety and security, excellence and sustainability, Zambia Gold is poised to be a trailblazer for a state-led, socially inclusive gold mining in Zambia.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Lungu, for coming through to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. That was Mr. Joseph Lungu, who is the Chief Executive Officer from Zambia Gold Company. Today, we are basically looking at the operations of the Zambia Gold Company, strategic direction, and of course, gold aggregation. Keep listening. Coming up, we have mining news as well as the quiz as we continue with the rest of the program.
ZCCM Investment Holdings. We believe. Sustainability is our focus for long-term success. Management of our investments is done by highly skilled personnel. Accretion is another strategic pillar for us to make steady, continuous gains. Risk influences all our decisions. To safeguard the interests, our timeliness is religiously followed for us to position ourselves to react efficiently to emerging trends and market opportunities. Longevity is ingrained in our investments to build lasting, controlled growth and prosperity. Yielding a maximum return on investment for our stakeholders is at the core of our strategy. At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we're building a bright and prosperous future, locally and globally.
You're listening to Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCM Investments Holdings PLC, your partner in Zambia's mining and energy sectors. Join us every Thursday at 12:10 hours on ZNBC Radio 2 as we explore the latest developments, trends, and innovations shaping the mining and energy industries. Tune in and join the conversation on Mining Corner for in-depth analysis, interviews with industry leaders, and discussions on the future of mining in Zambia. Stay informed, stay ahead. ZCCMI Edge. Investing smartly. From deep beneath Zambia's soil to powering dreams across the nation, ZCCMI Edge is investing smartly. ZCCMI Edge is transforming minerals into milestones and opportunities into lasting impact. Join the conversation every week on Mining Corner, only on ZNBC Radio 2 at 12:10 hours. Providing insightful stories, live discussions covering all issues on mining and energy sectors, plus exciting quizzes and prizes to be won. Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCMI Edge. Investing smartly.
At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we believe sustainability is our focus for long-term success. Management of our investments is done by highly skilled personnel. Accretion is another strategic pillar for us to make steady, continuous gains. Risk influences all our decisions to safeguard the interests of our stakeholders. Timeliness is religiously followed for us to position ourselves to react efficiently to emerging trends and market opportunities. Longevity is ingrained in our investments to build lasting, controlled growth and prosperity. Yielding a maximum return on investment for our stakeholders is at the core of our strategy. At ZCCM Investment Holdings, we're building a bright and prosperous future, locally and globally.
This is Mining Corner on ZNBC Radio 2. We are almost coming to the end of our show. We do have the quiz at the end of the program. So if you think you can attempt today, please, you're free to do so. We only have 2 questions. And of course, the questions are derived from what we're discussing today. So if you listened in from the beginning, this will be so easy for you. That's the quiz. Well, coming up next is Mining News.
Local stories. Mopani Copper Mine says it has recommissioned the Mindolo deep shaft that was previously abandoned. Mopani CEO Charles Sakanya said that the expansion project at the Mindolo deep shaft, once completed, will push copper production to 226,000 metric tons annually. 90 cooperatives in Mufumbwe have been issued with offer letters by government so that they undergo training in mining. This will be followed by the issuance of mining licenses. Barrick Lumwana Mining Company has expressed interest in conducting mineral exploration in Luwingu and Kasama districts. Barrick Lumwana's exploration geologist Mr. Mangala Sakala has also disclosed that the company has been granted a 5-year license by the government to explore Shimumbi, Njoko, and Malekani area in Luwingu. In international stories, Ghana is reforming its mining laws to shorten lease durations, eliminate automatic renewals, and require companies to share a percentage of revenue with local communities. A new medium-scale license will bridge the gap between large and small miners, while stability agreements will be limited to the capital recovery period. These changes aim to boost local development and transparency, applying only to future contracts. And lastly, Glencore is closing its final 2 copper mines in Mount Isa, Queensland this week due to declining ore grades, marking the end of over 60 years of operations. The closure may be followed by the shutdown of the region's copper smelter. The smelter, which processes over 1 million tons of copper concentrate annually, faces challenges due to competition from subsidized Chinese smelters.
That was mining news, and very shortly you'll be listening to the quiz. We only have 2 questions today, and like I did mention, the quiz questions are derived from the discussion today.
You're listening to Mining Corner, brought to you by ZCCM Investments Holdings PLC, your partner in Zambia's mining and energy sectors. Join us every Thursday at 12:10 hours on ZMBC Radio 2 as we explore the latest developments, trends, and innovations shaping the mining and energy industries. Tune in and join the conversation on Mining Corner for in-depth analysis, interviews with industry leaders, and discussions on the future of mining in Zambia. Stay informed, stay ahead. ZCCMI Edge. Investing smartly.
All right, now we get to the last part of our show, and this is the quiz segment. Today we have 2 questions. If you think you can attempt the questions, please feel free to call us. The number is 0770-347-221. Hello, good afternoon. We've lost that one. The number once again is 0770-347-221. 0770-347-221. You can also go to the ZCCM IH Facebook page and answer your questions there, or give it a try or a go, and who knows, you can be picked. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good. Who do we have on the line?
Lewis Mwandwe, calling you from Kitwe.
Lewis who?
Mwandwe, calling you from Kitwe.
From Kitwe.
Mwandwe, yes.
You are ready for the quiz?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, question 1. When was Zambia Gold Company incorporated? When was Zambia Gold Company incorporated? Okay, question 2. Who are the shareholders of Zambia Gold Company?
Zambia government.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so there are 2. There are supposed to be 2.
So that's all.
Okay, so thank you so much for trying. Maybe you can have better luck next time. Thank you so much for trying.
All right, thank you, madam.
All right, let's see if we can pick another call. So these questions are actually derived from our discussion today. We did have the CEO from Zambia Gold Company, and we had this discussion just at the beginning of the program and throughout the program. So if you feel you know the answers to the quiz, please call us.